angle. So the picture is, and we'll use kind of the same things here. We'll go A, B, C. So this one's called X, the one angle here at C. So the measure of angle ACB, that's the one that's X. Okay.
Okay.
It's, it depends how you do this, but it ends up being that it's half the other one. So I don't really like doing that. I like writing it as like 2x, but books use a half. But the measure of arc AB is well, let me do this. Let me do it the other way. So the measure of arc AB, it's 2 times that angle there. Okay, so a numerical example would help. Like let's say this is 30 degrees, this is 60 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remember that. So there's 2 things to remember. If it's in the center of the circle, they're equal. If it's on the edge, you got to double or cut in half depending on the problem there.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So before we get to your worksheet thing here, I'm gonna see if I can find like some more basic preliminary problems and then we'll work on what you've got there. So um
Got it.
so
Okay. That's
the
cool.
yep. All right. The 3 problems here, they all have center O.
Yeah.
So these are all central angles. Okay. And they want you to find the measure of arc A to B, A to B. And you might wonder, well, it's the big one. And the answer is no. They have to use 3 letters for the big one. So it's the small one. What is the measure of this arc here? How does it relate to that central angle?
Wouldn't the arc be 110?
It is 110. And it's
Oh,
degrees. Very important that it's
yeah.
degrees.
Yeah.
All right. Now, A to C to B is that one. So
Yeah.
if you remember in a circle, if you go all the way around, it's
60.
360 degrees.
Yeah. Okay.
So, so what is A to C to B if this part's 110?
That would be um 250.
250 degrees.
Yeah.
All right. So let's have you try C, number three. Number three is more like number one.
Okay. So A to B would be 40, and then BCA
40 degrees. Like it's
degrees.
that
Sorry,
degree.
sorry. Degrees.
They're gonna ding you on that. That's why I'm
Yeah,
bringing it
yeah,
up. Like
yeah.
with,
I need to.
okay,
Yeah, that's all good. And BCA would be 320 degrees.
very good. All right. So see if you can do the middle one there. It's basically the
Uh,
same.
uh, AC. Wait, it's just asking for. Hold on.
So I know you don't have this in front of you on your paper, but this is A to C to B,
Yeah, yeah. So that
which
would be
means you might have to find this other one first or
that
do
would be
something else first.
190, right?
Is 190. Agreed.
Okay, degrees. And AOB, is that just the same thing, or
It's a central angle. Even though maybe it looks weird,
a
it's still an
170?
angle.
Should this be
Yeah.
170? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Got it.
Okay. So those are your 3 central angle examples. Just a reminder on inscribed angles, part of it's on the circle. You're either doubling or cutting in half, depending on which way you're going.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So let me give you 3 problems here to try. All right. There we go. See if you can solve these, please.
Okay. And it's just asking me to find angle A.
Yep.
Okay. Would angle A on the first one be 90?
It is not 90.
Okay. Would it be 270 then?
Okay, so it feels like you didn't write anything down for inscribed angles.
No, I did.
Okay,
See,
then then
yeah,
then you tell me, what is the relationship between the arc and the
you
inscribed
times
angle?
it by two.
Okay, so far you've given me the same
Yeah.
number and then times three, not double or half.
So it would be 180 then,
Well,
because times
now I'm going
three.
to ask you to look at the angle. Does this look like a 180-degree angle down here?
It doesn't, no.
It does not. So somehow, like, this wasn't made clear. If this arc is 60, this is 30 inside of the angle. If the angle is 30, the arc is 60. This way you're
Oh, I
dividing by
see.
two. This way you're multiplying
Oh,
by two.
I see. Okay. So it would be
So if you had
45.
told me 180 first and then 45, that would have been fine. I really did like the other answer. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
45.
45.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about
Right.
that. Yeah.
Okay. So
Oh,
now see if you can give me the other ones here, please.
okay. Is this that's a central angle, right?
It is not. None of these are central angles. That there's no center to speak of. The vertex is on the circle. That's what makes it an inscribed angle.
Okay. Okay. Got it. 25-degree angle.
Okay. I agree.
Okay.
And how about the last one?
And that one would see would be 80.
Okay. I agree. All right. So what will it take to get you to remember this, do you think? Like what do you think could be? I mean, it's easy to do like the wrong one, double or cut in half.
Yeah.
Um,
Um I'm not sure. I mean, inscribe, it always like if it's an inscribed angle, it always is touching the line, correct? Or like the
the
circle.
circle. Yeah,
Okay.
that's good. Okay, so
Um,
we have enough now to look at number one, which is
yeah.
related to what we've been doing here. Okay, so can you tell me about the arc measure Q to R
Yeah.
based on this angle here? What kind of angle is this?
Um, that would be a central angle.
Okay, that's true. So what does the measure from Q to R become?
Q to R becomes mm, can
The
you
central angles were the first ones we did today.
yeah, I wrote it down, but I don't think I wrote down the times, like how much this should be times by. What does that like mean? Like
What does this mean here?
that
Oh, sorry.
AOB is equivalent to AB,
Okay. So what is AOB in this picture?
the like the triangle.
Central angle.
Yeah.
And what is AB?
And AB is the other side of the central angle or
So it's called the intercepted arc, which I mean, I don't, yeah, that's not super important, but they're the same.
okay.
They're the same. Equal means they're the same.
Okay. So Q to R would be 48.
48 degrees.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Now, new thing here. If you have a line that goes through the center, do you remember what the name of that line is?
Um an angle bisector or
Called a diameter.
diameter. Okay.
Diameter. And that cuts the circle in half.
Okay.
Okay. If it's 360 degrees and it cuts it in half, what does the angle measure become if you cut that in half?
180.
180. So if I were to call this X, what does X plus 48 add up to?
180.
180. So you can solve that to find X, which is the measure of the angle. It's also the measure of the intersected arc. Could you solve that for x for us, please?
Yeah. X equals 132.
Okay, so 132. So you can start getting this pretty messy here. Let me remove that. Well, actually, let me just redraw it here. So this is 48. This is 132. Q R P, and that's O. So P to R. Here's P to R. That's this one over here. What's the angle
Yeah.
measure of that?
132.
It's 132. Good. And then P Q R. That one's a little bit more awkward. P to Q to R is going that way.
Yeah.
So a couple of ways to do it. One is to subtract the part that's not there from 360. The other is to add up the one half of this and then add it to the 48. But both will work to find this P to Q to R.
Okay. Got it.
I'm happy to draw it again if that would help. Not sure.
Um, yeah. Wait, could you just subtract 132 and
Yes.
48 or add
No.
them together?
Well, if you add those together, that gives you got to think of the pieces. That's why I'm trying to show you this in blue. This is what we're asking for, P to Q to R.
Yeah,
That's
so
this one.
that's how you'd get it, right? And then you
So how much is P to Q going this way?
P to Q would be one hold on, I'm sorry. It would be 180.
So 180, and then Q to R is how much?
48.
So you got to add those together.
228.
Okay, very good. All right, so Q to P to R. This one's it's just awkward. You start at Q, you go to P, and then you go to R.
Yeah.
So you could either add Q to P and then P to R, or you could subtract QR from 360.
Okay.
Either way.
I get that. Okay, I get it now.
So what is the value of that?
Of all of it,
Yep.
360.
No, you're not going all the way around the circle. It's the part in green. Starting at Q, P, R. So how much is from Q to P? How much is it from P to R?
Oh, 312.
Yes,
Okay.
much better.
Got it.
Okay. What kinds of questions do you have or thoughts? Because there's only two concepts here, but it's challenging. It's really
Yeah,
challenging.
it's um I don't know. This is my like one of my first times like doing this because we just started doing this Friday,
Okay.
and I mean, yeah, I'm not really sure.
So I'm gonna label some things here. X,
Okay. Uh,
Y, Z, W, V, and U. Can you tell me any of those?
yeah, I could probably.
So give me any of them. Like this is where you just start. What can I
Yeah.
find? What
Okay.
do I know? And just
Can I tell you Z?
sure.
Or,
Actually, and I missed one here. Let me put key in. We'll do key right there.
would Z be 65?
Okay, how did you come up with that?
I added 73 and 42, and then I subtracted that from 180.
Okay, 65 degrees. Very good.
And
What
then
else?
would X be 42?
How are you coming up with that?
I'm not sure if it's right, but because
Yeah,
of
well, don't just guess. Like you gotta have a reason for it.
well, I was
But that's
thinking of vertical angles, but I don't know
yes.
if I can do that.
So X is not 42 by vertical angles, but P is.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
P,
and
sorry.
then
Yeah.
yeah, that's okay. I'm just
Can
trying
you
to
do that and like that stuff? You can use vertical angles and
yeah,
like
absolutely.
yeah, okay,
Absolutely.
cool.
So yeah, I mean that's the whole point here. So yeah, this is 42, which makes this 42. And you
Yeah.
said this was 65 degrees. What about P? What is P? You haven't told me that one yet.
Then P would be
Well, how did you find Z? Because you can't find Z without knowing P.
Z. Well, for P I got 138. That's correct.
Okay, so we're calling it different. Let me call this Q. What is Q?
Uh Q is 65, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, keep going.
On which one?
Doesn't matter. You got plenty here you can figure out still. All I'm doing on the right is filling in the ones that you've got. We'll still use the letters on the left. You still got U, you got Y,
Are the
you got
ones are the ones on the right correct though?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Would Y be 73 as well?
Yes, that's a central angle. So the
Okay,
intercepted arc is the same.
okay. And would W be 42 as well?
Yes, 42 degrees.
Okay.
Last one, what is U?
138.
138.
Well,
Okay, so very good. Now, we don't know if we need all these, but it's really good to find all those because they
yeah,
might come in handy here. So what I'm
yeah.
gonna do is copy this down here. And with the time we've got left here, we're gonna look at the ones that they want you to find
Okay.
and see if you can find any of these. You may already have them. Just tell me whatever you see.
B to D. 42 for B to D.
Okay.
And then C to E 73. E to B 65 for E to B. C A D would be 180.
Okay.
And B C D B C D. Would I just add them all together?
You
Or
could. You
like
can also subtract. Remember the whole thing. If you go all the way around, is 360.
yeah, but like what about E? Because he's like in the way of it.
Yeah. So with the colors, it really helps. You're starting at B, you're going to C, and then you're ending at D.
Yeah, so I just do all of that.
Yep.
Okay. That'll be just 65 plus 318.
So really quickly here, last one. This part B, they say if BCD equals 300 equals 2/3 x plus 300, you know that that is BCD. They're just coming up with a way for you to solve this for x. You're going to subtract 300 from both sides, and you get 18 equals 2/3 x. You multiply by the reciprocal and x ends up being 27. So,
Got it.
all right, we are out of time for today.